My best friend has been policing my relationships since I met her in high school, and now she's asking me to promise that I will never sleep with our mutual friend, but I don't have any intentions of doing that, so why do I need to make this promise? Posted by u/arelham, I, 30F, have a best friend, 29F, of 13 years. She is in a long-term committed relationship, 7+ years, and lives with her partner. We also share a mutual friend, Aaron, 30M. About 8 years ago, my friend and Aaron had a brief situationship. They slept together once and then tried to date very briefly long distance, but it ended because he did not want to pursue anything further. She was upset at the time, and it never became a mutual relationship. After that, they stayed friendly for a while, then lost touch for several years and reconnected as friends about a year ago. There has been nothing romantic between them since. Recently, Aaron broke up with his long-term girlfriend. Before that happened, my friend and I had already planned a trip to visit him together, which we have done before. This time, we were planning to stay at his place instead of a hotel. After his breakup, my friend started making comments like, haha, just please don't sleep with each other. It was framed as a joke, but it was clear she was anxious. I asked her directly if something was bothering her. I told her two things clearly. I was not planning to sleep with him. I was not comfortable promising 100% that I would not, because I do not like my potential or hypothetical relationships being policed, and I did not feel okay making absolute promises about future situations just to manage someone else's anxiety. I was not trying to be evasive. I was trying to be honest while also setting a boundary. The next day, I reiterated that I was still not planning to sleep with him. Her response was essentially that she was canceling the trip. She said she was canceling because the uncertainty made her anxious and she needed to take care of herself. From my perspective, this felt like my word was not trusted unless I gave a 100% guarantee, and when I did not, the entire plan was shut down. I understand that anxiety is real, but it also feels unfair to expect me to give up autonomy or make absolute promises about hypothetical scenarios, especially when nothing inappropriate had happened and the history in question was many years ago. She did not clearly say what she expected me to do differently. She canceled the trip without further discussion. I feel like I was honest, respectful, and that my boundary was reasonable. Am I a jerk for refusing to promise 100% that I wouldn't sleep with him, even though I said I wasn't planning to? Edit. Additional context people ask for. A few clarifications that seem important for understanding my response. This was not limited to this specific trip. My friend told me she did not want me to hook up with A at all, not now and not in the future. She also said she would be uncomfortable with me having any kind of romantic relationship with him, not just intercourse. Many people ask why I couldn't just say sure, no problem, I won't do it. The reason is that this was not framed as a one-time reassurance about this trip, but as a blanket expectation about my relationships going forward. I was being asked to promise that I would not pursue anything with A at all, indefinitely. My response, I'm not planning to, but I'm not comfortable with my relationships being policed, was intentional. There is prior context where my friend has tried to restrict my relationships based on her feelings, even when nothing was actively happening, which is why agreeing to a blanket promise felt important to push back on. In one case during university, I was starting to talk to a guy we both knew. She asked me not to pursue anything because she wanted to keep him as an option. I agreed and stepped back. She later started dating him about 2 years after that, and they are still together. In another case, she stopped speaking to me for about 2 months over a guy she had liked years earlier in school. Even though nothing had happened between them, I explicitly asked if she wanted me to stay away. I was told do whatever you want and then ignored. After over a week of no communication, I eventually dated him. That relationship later became my long-term relationship and engagement. Because of this history, I did not feel comfortable agreeing to a premise that would restrict my relationships in general, even though I was clear that I was not planning to pursue anything. 3. My friend's partner is aware that she and A had a brief situation many years ago. He is under the impression that this is long over and not an issue. Because of that, he has been okay with her staying in touch with A and with us traveling to his city. These visits have never involved the two of them alone. Every time she visited A, I was also there, except for one occasion when his girlfriend was present the entire time. There has been no one-on-one time between them since they reconnected. This is why the request for a 100% promise felt like an escalation rather than a simple reassurance. Commenter 1. Buddha, you mentioned not being taken at your word, but your word is that you are not promising anything. If your friend is uncomfortable for whatever reason, then she has the right to not go on the trip. Why don't you go alone and see what happens, since it seems like this is a potential romantic or sexual chance for you? She is absolutely taking you at your word. OP, we have a history of her policing my potential relationships, and I felt like it's time to put the boundary in place. For example, her current boyfriend is someone I was talking to years ago and she asked me to stop it because she was interested too. I obliged. Then after this she stonewalled me because the guy she liked back in school showed interest in me. I came to her to talk and see where she stands about this whole thing. They've never been in a relationship and the whole thing was happening in the third year of college, but she said do whatever you want and stopped talking to me for over 2 months. We did get together with that guy after her ignoring me for almost 2 weeks and me taking it as the end of our friendship. This guy ended up being my only serious relationship. We've been together for 9 years and got engaged but then broke up because of the situation in my country, war, and us seeing it differently. This is why when it happens for the third time, also, with me freshly out of the long-term relationship that mightn't have happened if she actually said leave it alone, I felt like I need to put a boundary out there that she's not to police who I'm seeing or not regardless if I am interested in the guy or not, which I'm not BTW. I hope this context helps. Update 1. We talked again. She said she panicked because she interpreted our previous conversation as me preparing the ground to hook up with him and reacted to that fear rather than anything that had actually happened. She framed it as a misunderstanding. What's important for context is that by that point I had already said multiple times that I am not planning to sleep with him. I reiterated this again very clearly during this conversation. Nothing has happened, I'm not being sneaky, and this was never something I was actively pursuing. After that, the trip was back on. That said, I'm still left feeling pretty uncomfortable about how this played out. Not because I want him, but because I don't understand why I had to repeatedly convince someone that nothing will ever happen when there were no concrete grounds to suspect that it would, other than the fact that we are both single now. I'm also still not okay with my relationships being policed in principle. This is not about this specific person. It is about the expectation that I should provide guarantees or reassurance indefinitely to manage someone else's anxiety, which I do not think is normal or healthy between adults. We agreed to put the broader conversation about boundaries and control on hold for now and deal with it later. The trip is back on. Because many people asked, I'm not planning to go to her partner about this at this point. Nothing concrete has happened, and while I have my own thoughts about why she reacted the way she did, those are still subjective interpretations. I do not think it is my place to escalate things or put ideas in his head when no clear lines have been crossed. My plan is to see how things actually play out this weekend and then, afterward, have an honest conversation with her as a friend about why this situation affected her so strongly, especially given that their history was 8 years ago and she is in a committed relationship now. Wish us all luck. I will update everyone after the weekend. Update 2. The weekend ended up going really well. Nothing happened between me and A. There were no weird vibes, no tension, and honestly everything felt very normal and relaxed. I also didn't sense any lingering or inappropriate energy from my friend toward him during the trip. After we got back, my friend and I talked again. She clarified that she would probably be okay if we were ever aiming at something serious, but what she was afraid of was us sleeping together casually and then creating awkwardness or damaging the group dynamic. I still feel like this was a bit of backtracking compared to how things were framed before the weekend, but at this point I'm choosing not to dig further into that. In the end, I actually got what I needed from the situation. While we are both going through breakups, it isn't just about that. I realized we're quite similar as people, and talking to him felt easy and natural. It made me see that there's potential for a genuine friendship there over time. As a bonus, he helped me set up a Tinder profile, and I already have a few dates lined up. So that part worked out pretty well. One surprising detail was that my friend's boyfriend was aware of the whole situation and fully on her side, which honestly confused me a bit. I still have questions about that dynamic, but I'm not planning to get into it further. Sorry for the less than underwhelming update, and my apologies to everyone who was rooting for me to sleep with him. I'll update you if that ever happens.